log, or a forest, a pond, or the ocean. These are just some of the ecosystems found in nature. An ecosystem is a functional and stable unit where all living organisms interact among themselves and with the surrounding physical environment, leading to a flow of energy and nutrients. There is great variation in the size of different ecosystems. In fact, we can consider the Earth or the biosphere as a giant ecosystem composed of small and large ecosystems. However, since it is difficult for us to study such a huge ecosystem in one go, we divide it into smaller ecosystems for convenience. Ecosystems are usually classified as natural and artificial. Natural ecosystems exist naturally in nature and function all by themselves. These ecosystems are further classified as terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems. Forests, deserts, and grasslands are some terrestrial ecosystems, while the ocean, lakes, and wetlands are some aquatic ecosystems. Unlike natural ecosystems, artificial ecosystems are created and maintained by human beings. Some artificial ecosystems are croplands, orchards, gardens, and aquariums. The structure of different ecosystems also varies greatly and involves the composition of a biological community in terms of number, biomass, life history, population, and distribution of species. The structure of an ecosystem also involves the availability and distribution of several non-living factors such as nutrients, water, and climatic and physical conditions. In other words, the two major components in any ecosystem are abiotic or non-living components and biotic or living components. There is a continuous interaction between the abiotic and biotic components of an ecosystem, resulting in a physical structure which forms a characteristic for each type of ecosystem. Also, an ecosystem has several plant and animal species, and their identification and enumeration gives us the composition of the species. The vertical distribution of different species occupying different levels is known as stratification. For instance, in a forest ecosystem, the trees occupy the top vertical strata or layer, followed by shrubs, herbs, and grasses. Two main processes occur in an ecosystem. 1. There is a continuous cycling of nutrients between living and non-living components, and 2. There is a continuous input of energy from an ultimate source, which is mainly the sun. This energy is tapped by the producers and is passed to other trophic levels in the ecosystem. Generally, the producers occupy the first trophic level at the base, followed by primary, secondary, and tertiary consumers. Now, let us learn about the functions of an ecosystem. All ecosystems, big or small, perform four major functions, namely productivity, decomposition, energy flow, and nutrient cycling. To better understand the structure and functions of an ecosystem, let us take the example of a small pond, which is a fairly self-sufficient system. Now, some of the abiotic components in this pond include water, rocks, soil, sunlight, and dissolved inorganic and organic substances such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen. It also includes dissolved inorganic salts in the form of nitrates, chlorides, and phosphates. Like abiotic components, there are several biotic components in this pond. These include autotrophic components like plants, phytoplanktons, and photosynthetic bacteria found both floating and submerged in water. The biotic components also include heterotrophic components like small and big fish, crustaceans, amphibians, beetles, and zooplanktons. Some of these heterotrophs are herbivorous, while others are carnivorous. The decomposers also fall under heterotrophic components and include several species of fungi and bacteria, usually found in abundance at the bottom of the pond. Now, in this pond, autotrophs such as algae produce their own food by converting inorganic material into organic compounds using the sun's energy. These algae are consumed by small fish, which in turn are consumed by bigger fish. Here, both the small and big fish are heterotrophs. Thus, autotrophs prepare their own food, and these autotrophs are consumed by heterotrophs. Thus, the functions of productivity and energy flow are clearly seen in this ecosystem. When the algae and fish in the pond die, the function of decomposition takes place. That is, the decomposers decay and mineralize the dead matter and release them back into the sediments and water, which are then reused by autotrophs. Thus, there is a unidirectional flow of energy from the lower to the higher trophic levels, with substantial amounts of energy being dissipated in the form of heat to the environment at various levels. Moreover, this example also demonstrates the function of nutrient or mineral cycling, as we can see nutrients flowing from autotrophs to heterotrophs and then to decomposers and back to autotrophs in a cyclic manner. In addition, the functioning of the entire pond is regulated by abiotic factors such as length of day, temperature, solar input, dissolved organic and inorganic materials, to name a few. Thus, the structure of ecosystems varies greatly, and its functioning depends on rate of nutrient and energy flow, and also the interrelation between living organisms and the environment, thereby forming a self-sustaining system.